If you like British humor, along the lines of Mr. Bean, you will love attending the Old Christmas Tea. It's a British comedy. And the performance is actually coming here to Brockville. Yes, Brockville. So today I am Zooming with the two individuals known as James and Jamesy. They happen to be Alastair Knowles and Malkin. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hi, it's our pleasure. Okay, I have been doing some reading about, yes, you two. And
the good stuff, I hope.
The good stuff, yeah, right. Okay, I understand that you're really packing a lot of the theaters here in Ontario. And I hear that the audience members, they're actually rolling in the aisles. What are you doing to our Ontario people?
Well, our shows are opportunities for adults to play.
Okay.
So we put on a play on the stage, and many people think of going to the theater as something you sit down and watch. With our shows, that story, the storyline and the characters themselves spill from the stage into the audience, and the audience is continuously giving subtle and then not so subtle invitations to join us in the play.
Oh, wow. Oh, so this really then is interactive, is what you're telling me.
I would say first that it's immersive. We try to create an environment that everyone is a part of.
Yes.
We call it the fourth wall in the theater, the imagined wall between the stage and the audience. We burst it through. We flood the world with tea, and then all of a sudden we're among all these underwater sea creatures, which is the audience. And they have this, opportunity to just be in that world with, fancy lighting and sound effects and stuff. But then they can also be underwater sea creatures if they want.
And the premise of the show is these two guys get together for tea. It's such a simple premise, kind of as simple as you can get. All they're doing is getting together for tea at Christmas. Where the comedy and the play starts to ignite is that James thinks of the theater as being real, the audience is there, and we're just putting on a little show. And Jamesy believes that what's on stage is real. We're having real tea, even though it's mimed, and that the audience doesn't exist, and that the stage is actually his flat in London.
And that's a perfect kind of juxtaposition of the proper and the absurd that we find in so many British comedies like Monty Python and Mr. Bean, Blackadder.
Yes.
And that idea that what is on stage, yes, it is make-believe. Yes, it does rely on imagination. So does theater. So does the sense of play.
So does reading.
so does reading. So, and our audiences, so many audiences in theater are used to witnessing a show.
A passive experience.
And with our show, James plays an audience representative on stage who himself is challenged to go, okay, is this tea mimed or is it real?
I'm challenged to see the imagined world that is so rich and vibrant for the Jamesy character.
And as he chooses to accept and is brought into that world of the imagination, he gets to realize and experience, whoa, in this imagined world, the rules of reality are not as rigid. And as he grows as a person, he is an audience representative. He comes from the world of the audience. And then the audience gets to see him explore his own comfort and discomfort in that imagination. And then they get to take that same path as we give them opportunities to accept imagination as real, accept the opportunities we present for them as players in the show.
And the consequence is sometimes people rolling on the floor laughing in the aisles.
Oh, really? Oh, my heavens.
Last night at we were doing
right now we're touring New York. with the show.
Okay.
Back in Ontario.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just last night, the technician said, I've never seen anything like that. And then the guy who was responsible he was on fire watch to make sure no fires broke out in the theater.
Yes.
He was the one that was rolling in the floor laughing. So
That's cute.
it's always a good sign when the theater staff are enjoying the show.
So when are you coming to Brockville?
Tuesday, December 17th.
7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m. at the Arts Center. This is awesome. Did you two grow up together by any chance?
We lived in the same house at one point.
Okay.
When we were adults. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Alastair actually grew up in West Africa in his younger years.
Yes.
And I grew up in Toronto.
Oh,
of all places.
Toronto. Oh, Canada.
Ever heard of it?
But we ended up living together on the West Coast. He's lived in various both the States and Canada of the Pacific Northwest. But we ended up working together in Vancouver on various shows and started creating together. And we've been touring James and Jamesy shows. We're like 1,000 shows in for the last decade.
That's
And
amazing.
believe it or not, Aaron is a chemist and I studied business. And then remarkably, we discovered that, whoa, we can play as adults as a career. Can we do this? And it just so happens that our style of comedy really resonates with our audience members. I think this year, 40,000 people are going to come and join us in play.
Isn't that amazing? Well, you seem to complement each other. I noticed early on when we were talking, Aaron, I think it was you that finished a sentence. The Alastair,
Alastair
yes.
No.
And I
Just
thought,
finished your sentence.
that's why I wanted to know if you grew up together or when you had, started your careers together. Isn't that amazing?
It's great touring together. We have so much fun on the road, both in the shows and off of the shows. And I was reflecting to Aaron the other day. I said, there's not too many people I can just joke around with in the way that we do. Whether it's finishing each other's sentences or starting some concept of a joke and then letting the other person take over, or singing and having the other person just bust right in with their own rendition of whatever it is that's happening.
A spirit of play is always kind of in the ether around us.
Ho, ho.
As long as we're in a good mood and we've slept well and are fed.
We're learning how to take care of ourselves so that is the norm.
Good.
Or stays the norm. Because right now we're doing a 61 show tour, which can be grueling when you're doing 2 shows a day for day after day after day.
Yeah.
It just takes a toll on the body, and you need some recovery time. So
you do.
We're learning about how to sustain ourselves.
Good for you too. Well, it's nice to have met you. See you in Brockville and break a leg, okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.